Hello, my beautiful people. Today I am so excited because I have one of my favorite people on the blog today. Incredible blogger, incredible singer. I think we all kind of get our love of coffee from her, maybe. You're gonna love it. You are absolutely gonna fall in love with her. So, without further ado, let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the blog and channel. Today, I am so happy to have Courtney Collingsworth Metz with us. So welcome. Thank you so much for being on.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so I'm really, really excited that we finally got it together. So
Yes,
for those that may not be familiar with you and your family, go ahead and give us an introduction to you, what you do in your family, a little bit about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, obviously, my name is Courtney, and I travel full-time with my family. We're called the Collingsworth family, and we sing everywhere. We do gospel music, and I'm the alto singer, and I also play the violin. So we travel nationwide, and we've also been to Europe and Canada. So we're busy. We do 120 concerts a year. And then when we're not on the road, I also own a blog, and it's kind of like modest fashion / lifestyle, food, whatever, just a bunch of different stuff. And I have an Instagram as well that covers that and kind of promotes my blog. So yeah, those are kind of my jobs. So
that's awesome. Yes, I know the Collingsworth family is just, anytime you hear that name, you know it's going to be classy and just everything is done with pure excellence. And I love your social media accounts, your blog. We're going to get into that actually. So I'm glad you brought that up. So take us back to your childhood. What was that like growing up, as a member of the Collingsworth family back in the day? What was that like?
Well, that's a good question. We were probably a very strange family in that our life kind of revolved around music, even before we really started our professional career, I guess. My mom and dad were always super musical. My dad has a degree in trumpet performance, and then my mom is more of a self-taught musician, but she started playing the piano when she was 3. So they would go around and sing at like church revivals, and obviously they have 4 kids, me and my 3 siblings, and we would go around with them. From the time I was like 3 till 8 when we started singing professionally. We would just kind of go to revivals on the weekends and sing, and dad held down a normal job, during the week. And so we were always singing. It was nothing for us to be, just walking through if someone started singing something, all of us would chime in 3-part harmony. We were weird. I guess people would probably think we were weird, but music was just a huge part of our lives, and obviously still is today. But yeah, that's kind of how we grew up.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, talk to us a little bit about, you grew up, you got married, and then you started your own family. So what was that like? How did you take the traditions and, the traditions of your family and create your own identity with you and your husband, Michael? How did that work?
Well, let's see. I got married pretty young. Some people's standard. I was 20 years old. I met my husband when I was 14. Wow. I think what just really struck me about him was that we had such similar upbringings. And so when we got married, it wasn't like a big life change, you know what I mean? Exactly. We had been both raised by good Christian parents. And so it was such a natural thing to, create our own family. And I hope that someday we'll raise our own children just like both of our parents raised us. We both have a lot of respect for the way we were raised. So to be honest, there wasn't a huge transition for us because we both had the same mentality about how we wanted to create our family. So
yeah, and that's nice. That's wonderful. And so then leading from that, now with the Collingsworth family and all the new things that are coming up, y'all just released a new album. So let's talk a little bit about that. An incredible project. And I know there's several songs, that have meant a lot to you personally. So let's talk a little bit about the new album. Tell us about it.
Yes, so at the beginning of the year, we actually had not made an album for 3 years, which is pretty long for us. We usually went every 18 months to 2 years, we would make a new album. But we're strong believers in that you have to have the right songs. And last year, when it would have been our normal time to make an album, it was just we weren't ready with the right songs. And so we petitioned a bunch of our favorite writers to, write us some stuff for our new album. And we're looking for certain types of songs because we don't do any throwaway songs, and that we try to sing every single song on our album in a concert. So we don't do songs because they're cool. We try to do songs that touch us so that hopefully we can in turn encourage an audience with them. And so it was really, really a tough thing, finding the right songs. But finally, at about January of 2018, we had collected all the songs. So we started the album, and we actually spent 8 months on this album, which is, I think, the longest we've ever done.
Wow.
We did the orchestra in Prague, the Prague, Czech Republic, and so that was really cool. We had 2 producers this time, so it was definitely a longer process than normal. And actually, right now, we're taking a big month-long break, kind of because of the album this year. So it was a long process, but an amazing process.
Yes, yes. And then talk to us a little bit about the song Your Ways Are Higher Than Mine. I know that song has literally just, when it came out, it was just like, wow, like the amount of people that responded to it was incredible. So tell us about that.
Thank you. The first time I heard it, a friend of ours, her name is Rachel McCutcheon, she wrote it for our family. And the first time I heard it, I just cried so hard because I felt like it was a song that so many people can relate to in just so many different areas of their life, whether you're going through a tough season or you've been through a tough season. I just connected to that song, and I said to my mom the minute I heard it, this is my song. I have to sing this song.
Wow.
It really touched me, and I think I was so shocked the day that the album released at the response. I probably got 150 personal messages, like direct messages on my Instagram that day. I was so blown away, but I had hoped that because it touched me, maybe it would touch other people as well, and I've been thrilled with the response. And thank you, Rachel McCutcheon, for writing such an amazing song.
It's great. It's great. And the thing that you said about your family, that is so true about y'all's songs, that every song is, you can tell it's been picked and it's been selected for a purpose and for a reason. And so it's phenomenal. So switching gears a little bit, some people who are just on the music side may not know about your blog and about your clothing line and your social media. So I want to hop into that, starting with your blog. So what made you want to start a blog?
Well, a few years back, I think it's been 3 or 4 years ago, us girls, all the CFAM girls, started a blog ourselves together. And we all love fashion. I think we all kind of connect on that point. And so we all started a blog together, but we've quickly found out within 6 months that it was so impossible when we're home. Was really the only time we could do photo shoots. And so we couldn't get together on it. It was hard to like get together and try to get a photo shoot in when we really just wanted to be home and relax. So we all kind of decided, you know what, let's just do, when we can, we'll do a photo shoot together, but, you know, kind of focus on our own fashion and whatever. And so obviously I love my sisters, but that was really tough to keep it together. You know, we all have crazy lives. So we still get pictures together here and there. But then after we kind of decided to do that, I started my own blog for a lot of different interests because me and my husband also flip houses. So I started out my blog with sharing some of my home decor I had done in a house that we had just flipped. And then it just kind of evolved from that to fashion, to food, to whatever. And so that's kind of how the fashion thing got started. Mainly because I was hoping that we could encourage other ladies that you can dress modest and represent Christ, but you don't have to look grumpy. So
exactly. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. And you can actually see behind you. I love where you're sitting. You can see her house is gorgeous. It's amazing. I love it. So, and talking about that, one of the coolest things about your social media presence on Instagram and then your blog is that you are so encouraging to young women and women everywhere about modest fashion and really about everything. And I think it's so cool that people come to you for everything. And I love that. I love that we have those people on social media, and it's important, you know, that we can go to and say, hey, you know, what about this? Or what are your thoughts on this? So I love that. So what is your favorite thing or the most rewarding thing about having your presence on social media and being an influencer?
Oh, that is a really good question. I think the most surprising thing to me was the friendships that I've actually made out of it. There have been several other bloggers that I've met actually in person since we tour the country regularly. A lot of them have come to our concerts because they've seen my social media account. And so I've actually gotten to meet a lot of my friends, and now they're my real friends, on Instagram. So I think that was the most surprising thing, is that I found so many other ladies that were interested in modest fashion too. So it's really a community, and it's really neat. I think that was the most surprising thing for me.
Wow, that's awesome. I know, I do love that, how I know there's a lot of talk about, you know, social media, and which you mean is true, but I feel it brings everybody closer together. You make friendships that otherwise you would not have. So it's great. Let's hop into your clothing line. Let's talk about that. That is a newer venture for you. Which was exciting. Whenever I found that out, I was like, yes, that's awesome. So talk to us about that. Tell us about that.
I think it was spring or summer, I met a lady named Julia. I can't say her last name. I think it's Kuzmenko. Anyways, she owns a clothing boutique called Lace and Lilac, and she contacted me and asked me if she could send me a sample outfit to show off on my Instagram. And I said, oh, sure, I'd love to do that. So we did a small collaboration, and we really realized that our styles were so similar, and we had a lot of the same goals in, trying to encourage people to dress modestly. And so after we did several collaborations together, she actually came to see me in a concert, and we met in person, and we really connected even more. And then she asked me if I would be interested in doing my own clothing collection. So I was like blown away. I wasn't expecting that. And I had always kind of had in the back of my mind dreamed of, being able to sell clothing. And so I was able to handpick all of the clothing from the manufacturers. And then she does all the merch and the selling and the warehousing and stuff herself. So basically I'm just the front, and then she does the hard work. So anyways, but yeah, so that happened. We actually launched 2 days after my birthday this year. So it was really cool.
Fun. Wow, that's super cool. And I love it has taken off majorly. I know everything, like you'll see it pop up and within a couple hours they're sold out. So they are definitely a favorite though. So one thing that I want to talk about, I noticed on your social media or blog that you are a big proponent of devotions. And you've led several women's groups, for devotions multiple times a year. And I love that. And so I want to know, what do those devotions mean to you personally?
One that we did this year that really, really stood out to me was called Discerning the Voice of God by Priscilla Shear. She's Tony Evans' daughter. And a lot of you have seen her on War Room. For me personally, on the road, it is really, really hard to commit and just, read your Bible every day, because we are constantly going to sound check. And I think I kind of started doing that as an accountability for myself, that I need to read God's word every day. And I pray a lot, but God's word is so important, and we need to be digging deep into his word. And so that was kind of the whole thing behind it, is to, accountability for myself. I think our first devotional this year, we had 500 women. It capped off at 500. We couldn't do more than 500. Or I had to create new accounts or something. Anyways,
yeah, I remember,
but that was really, really fun. And that's kind of been what was behind it. And that's why it means so much to me. It's personal accountability. So.
Yes, it's great. And I love how it brings everybody together, and then everybody's able to talk about what they got out of it. So it's awesome. And then the last question before we get into the speed round is, with everything that we've talked about, I know you get this question a lot. What is your top tip for prioritizing your time?
Ooh, that's a good one. My husband actually got me a big dry erase board that just says to do, and it has tons of slots and little checks.
Oh, wow.
And so I am a big list maker, just because a lot of times I might have one day, just one day to get everything ready to go on the road. So I got to do laundry and clean up the kitchen and do the dishes and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, definitely a big list maker. So make lists. It always helps.
Yes, I know. I'm the same way. Just write them and write them and write them, and then they're done.
Sometimes I'll even add it to the list after I've done it, just so I can check it off.
Same. I do that. Seriously. I'll be like, well, I've already done that, but if I put it down, it'll make me feel better whenever I cross it off.
I'll feel more motivated if I put that on.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to hop into the speed round, which these are not necessarily faster questions, just more fun, lighthearted questions. So the first one, we all know you love your Dunkin' coffee, which I feel I'm the same way. So curious, how many times do you go to Dunkin' a week?
If I'm home, probably 3 to 4 times a week. If I'm not home, we pretty much don't go, maybe once. So.
Okay, second one. What is one of your favorite social media accounts?
Oh, that's hard. I really love Courtney Collingsworth, and that is just the name.
She's sweet.
She's a great modest fashion blogger as well.
Yes, love her. Okay, number 3. With your clothing styles, do you like colors or neutral tones? Or both?
That's a hard one. I do love color, but I don't like color very much in my decor. More color in my fashion.
Awesome. Okay. What is, let's say, I know you just said y'all travel like crazy, so you're going to be home. What is the number one thing that you want to do immediately that you love to do? Your favorite thing when you're home?
Oh, man. This is cheesy, but I just like to watch Netflix in my PJs.
Exactly. Just chill.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. What is one question that gets asked everywhere, whether it be your social media or your concerts? What is the number one question that's kind of weird that gets asked all the time?
Do you have a job? I think that's probably like, because I think they think that maybe our singing is glamorous or something, which behind the scenes is definitely real life. It is not super glamorous, but I think it would probably be, do you have a job, or do you have another job?
Exactly. Well, that, and real quick, I think a lot of times people don't realize that the blogging industry, social media industry, all of that does take work. So thank you for all the work you put into it. Yeah.
Corresponding and all that.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you for all the work you put into it. You can definitely tell.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. And then last speed round question. I know you like to dress up because concerts, obviously, and events and things. Then I know you also like your athleisure wear. So do you prefer heels or flats for shoes?
Comfort, probably, so flats.
Yeah, same.
I love the look of a heel, but man, there is nothing like a good tennis shoe or just a flat.
Exactly. All right, so that was the end of our speed round. You did great. You didn't even hesitate once.
Made it.
So the last question that I always like to end with is an advice question, and I think it's super cool. Everybody that I have on usually brings something new and different to the table, and I love to see how everything how they're all different, but they all provide advice. So what is the piece of advice that you would give your younger self or any young people, young women out there that maybe they want to have a social media following, maybe they want to start their own blog, maybe they want to sing, maybe they want to travel. What advice would you give them?
If I could go back into my teen years and give myself some advice, I think I would say, don't worry what other people think of you. I spent several years in my teen years just worrying, did I look fashionable, or was I skinny enough, or was I pretty enough, or I had freckles and other people didn't. I mean, and now as a married adult, I think I found such a peace by worrying what God thinks of me more than what other people think of me. And I've made so many other friends who have that mindset. And it's just really changed my life for the positive of trying. And obviously you want to present yourself in a good way to represent Christ. But at the same time, like in the end, it doesn't matter what others think of you if you're right with God. And so I think that would be my tip for myself, is don't worry what other people think about you, and focus on pleasing the Lord. So.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. And I think in turn, whenever you focus on that, then the people that you surround yourself with will notice that, and appreciate the fact that that's one of your, concerns. So, well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been awesome.
I so enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm going to leave links to your family's website down below so that they can go and see tour dates, so that they can come out and see y'all. Y'all have to go. They're incredible.
Please come see us. Me too.
Yes. And so I'm going to leave links to y'all's website. I'm also going to leave links to her blog. You need to go check that out and subscribe. And also her social media, her Instagram. Go follow her. I'm going to leave all those links to your clothing line as well. I'm going to leave them all down below so y'all can go and click them and go follow along. Yeah. So once again, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a pleasure. So thank you.
I so enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And you're great at asking questions. So
thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.